You're listening to CFRN, the Christian Financial Radio Network.
Good afternoon, traders, and welcome back to the CFRN E-mini Futures Cast. This is the daily broadcast of Indeterminate Length, where we discuss all things E-mini, along with some really big ideas on the finer points of trading gold, bonds, crude, sugar, the euro. Joining us today, Mr. Michael Borth. From our trading desk in Chicago, Mr. Burton Schlichter. Now, to get things started, let's go to our host and founder in Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Here's Dwayne.
Good afternoon. Welcome back. Today is Friday, 5th day of April, 2024. Thanks so much for joining us. Whoever you are, wherever you are, we're just glad to have you right here, right now. This is our second live broadcast of the trading day. We do two every trading day. And the first broadcast, that's private, members only, and those who are taking our 1 week free trial. If you have not taken your 1 week free trial, you can do so by going right here, mytradingiq.com. Click this purple button. No credit card required. And it says free trial, but it's really not free, to be honest with you. It costs us time, energy, money, and resources for you to take a free trial. But the good news is it doesn't cost you anything but a desire to actually learn how to trade. Of course, you can continue to chase moonbeams and rainbows, but if you really want to learn how to trade, I highly suggest you find someone willing to teach you how to trade. Not that you might not stumble upon some method that works for you after years and tens of thousands of dollars. We're just offering you a shortcut, okay? There's no need to reinvent the wheel. We have a wheel. It rolls perfectly well for us and for thousands of other traders. So, it's entirely up to you. mytradingiq.com, no credit card required. Now, when the live training room ends every day at 11:30 a.m. Eastern, we take a 30-minute break and come back 30 minutes later for this broadcast, the afternoon broadcast, which is open to the public. Unlike the first broadcast, which is private, this one, anybody, anywhere on planet Earth with an internet-connected device is invited to join us every trading day at 12 noon Eastern. Now, there's a couple different ways you can join this broadcast live each day. Best way, you only have to do this once. Go to mytradingiq.com and scroll down the page a little bit to where it says afternoon broadcast. Click that link, fill out that 30-second registration form, and you're done. Not only will that get you in the day you do it, but every trading day going forward, you will get an email about an hour before this broadcast starts. In that email, there is a link. So at 12 noon Eastern, all you have to do is click the link in the email, and it automatically logs you into our platform. Benefit there is you have access to the question box so that you can ask questions and participate in the discussion. Of course, there will be days when you're out of the office, away from the desktop, but you still want to join live. There'll also be days when you're busy and can't join live, but would like to get caught up later. In both cases, you can. I am talking about our YouTube channel, where we are simulcasting as I speak this very moment. And it's really easy to remember. youtube.com/CFRN. Right there. You already know the YouTube part, so all you have to remember really is the CFRN part. Now, not only do we broadcast live every trading day on our YouTube channel, but we also archive each and every daily broadcast. Currently, there's over 2,400 daily episodes archived for your educational and viewing pleasure. For those who are new to the world of CFRN, it's a great way to get to know who we really are. Not just today, not just this week, but really you can see how we've evolved over the years. Thanks to the power of YouTube, you can scroll back 6 weeks, 6 months, 6 years, even more. True story. Now, you're not going to watch them all. That's a given. So just pick a couple days at random. Doesn't matter which ones. Just pick some days at random. Listen in a little bit. Fast forward. Watch some more. Go to another day. You're going to discover the thread of connectivity, the thread of continuity that's woven through each and every daily broadcast and our very vibrant trading community. youtube.com/CFRN. So we'll open with our daily devotional and a word of prayer, as we do every day. Then we'll get into the markets. I'll give you the numbers from around the world. We'll talk about this joke of job numbers that came out today. Now, what they didn't tell you when those numbers came out, they didn't tell you that the 99-cent only store, that place you love to shop, they're closing all 371 stores. Effective PDQ. Pretty darn quick. It's going to be a whole lot of people looking for work. Apple. When the job numbers came out today, they didn't mention that Apple was laying off 600 people today. Did they? No, you're not going to hear any of that negative stuff in mainstream media between now and the election. That's not how the game is played. Is it wrong? Yes. How long are they going to keep selling that garbage? As long as you keep believing it. Remember, people will only treat you in the manner that you allow them to treat you. We talked about that yesterday, but all right. The topic of our devotion, which we've still got one more day to go, but today we're on the topic still of finding faith. Today's scripture is Romans 10, verses 14 through 17, and I'm going to share with you from the Message translation. But how can people call for help if they don't know who to trust? And how can they know who to trust if they haven't heard of the one who can be trusted? And how can they hear if nobody tells them? And how is anyone going to tell them unless someone is sent to do it? That's why Scripture exclaims, a sight to take your breath away. Grand processions of people telling all the good things of God. But not everybody is ready for this. Ready to see and hear and act. Isaiah asked what we all ask at one time or another. Does anyone care, God? Is anyone listening and believing a word of it? The point is, before you trust, you have to listen. But unless Christ's word is preached, there's nothing worth listening to. Let's talk about God's promises. When we seek help from someone we can trust, our confidence in them naturally leads us to believe in what they have to say. Similarly, when we have confidence in God, we ought to believe His word and His promises. So finding faith means trusting God and trusting His word. Now, yesterday's scripture was Hebrews 11. Hebrews 11 recounts the stories of the heroes of faith who believed in God and His promises. Sarah, Abraham's wife, trusted in God and His promise. She conceived in her old age because she considered Him faithful who has made the promise. God rewarded her faith, and she bore a son. Abraham, also exemplifying faith, obeyed God and offered his only son as a sacrifice, trusting in God's promise that his descendants would come from Isaac. God rewarded Abraham's faith and spared his son. And there are other heroes of faith that we mentioned yesterday in Hebrews 11. Abel, Noah, Isaac, Jacob, Joseph, Moses, Rahab, Gideon, Samson, David. All of them believed in God's promises and witnessed the reward for their belief. Hebrews 11 also mentions unnamed heroes who were commended for their faith. They were tortured, abused, stoned, sawed in two, and murdered. None of them saw the fulfillment of God's promises, and yet they were commended for their faith because they still believed in God and His Word. They knew that God unfailingly fulfills His promises to believers, whether immediately or ultimately. So a question for you today. Do we believe in God's promises? If we have confidence in God, we should have confidence in His Word. Join me in a word of prayer. Heavenly Father, we come before you today, moved by the powerful message in Romans 10, where it proclaims that faith comes from hearing the message, and the message is heard through the word about Christ. Lord, we thank you for the gift of your word, which reveals to us the truth about your Son, Jesus Christ. We are grateful for the opportunity to hear and receive the message of salvation through him. Grant us, Lord, the courage and conviction to proclaim your word boldly to everyone around us. Help us to be faithful witnesses of your love and grace, sharing the good news of Jesus Christ with anyone who will listen. Father, we ask that your Holy Spirit work in the hearts of those who hear your word, opening their minds and softening their hearts to receive the truth. May we come to know you personally and experience the transforming power of your love. We thank you, Lord, for the privilege of being your ambassadors here on earth. May we faithfully proclaim your word and live lives that reflect your love and grace to the world around us. It's in Jesus' name we believe and pray. And everybody said, amen. Amen and happy Friday. I hope it's a happy Friday for you. Whoever you are, wherever you are. Let me give you the numbers. Starting in the U.S. with the cash markets, or the indices as they're called. Quite a bounce back. The Dow up 394 points. It's a little over 1%. The NASDAQ up 250 points, 1.5%. S&P 500 up 69 points, over 1.25%. Russell 2000, maybe not buying it quite so much, up 13 points. Now, the numbers I just gave you, that came off the strong jobs report this morning, which is as full of holes as a piece of Swiss cheese. Now, next week, people are going to realize, once again, they've been hoodwinked. But, hey, you got to trade what's in front of you. Never sell a rising market. Never buy a falling market. And that's trading 101. In the commodity basket, crude oil is up 76 cents, trading 87.35 last. Gold, $38.70, trading 23.4740 last. That's a gain of almost 1.75%. Silver, rocking the week, up 26 cents, trading 27.51 last. It's a gain of almost 1%. And the Asian markets at the close. Nikkei down 781 points. They got the memo. That's basically 2%. Shanghai down 5. Hang Seng down 1. And in the European markets at the close, FTSE down 64, almost 1%. The DAX down 228, 1.25%. The CAC down 90, well over 1%. They got the memo. So we had a red day in Asia. It was a red day for the UK. But it's a green radio Friday here in the US of A. Now, as confident as these institutional traders were with this jobs report, I'm so anxious to see if they're willing to carry it home over the weekend. How many times on a Friday here of late have we seen the institutional traders drop the ball in the last few hours of trade? I'm not predicting that's what will happen today. That's not a forecast. It's merely an observation. So let's take a look at Logic 247. That's our 24/7 around-the-clock E-mini alert service. But it's not just the E-minis. It's also crude and gold and silver and the euro and bonds. Over the last 296 weeks, we've issued over 16,400 individual handcrafted alerts. And we've averaged 20% or less of the alerts being stopped out based on market structure in a very simple process that we teach all of our passport holders. Now, Valerie did this recap this morning at 6:30 a.m. Eastern. Some things have changed since then, and I've put out some additional alerts. So this afternoon, she will complete the final recap for the week, and then we'll turn our eyes towards Sunday night when we begin week 297. Now, when Valerie did the recap this morning, we had issued a total of 58 alerts since the market opened this past Sunday night at 6 p.m. Eastern. Still waiting on the outcome of 15. 43 actionable alerts, of which 4 or 9% again would have been stopped out based on market structure and that very simple process we teach all of our passport holders. Now, long before we had Logic 247, we had our original alert service, the concierge trade alerts. Now, they're a little bit different in a couple different ways. The Logic alerts can come out around the clock, 2 a.m. or 2 p.m. as opportunity presents itself. Futures trade around the clock. We have traders around the globe. Our day session is their night session and vice versa. The Logic 247 alerts have an entry price. They have an initial target designed to help you get your goal for the day. And then they'll often have a second, a third, a fourth, a fifth, even more targets, and then a final trade to target. If it's a short alert, the final trade to target will be the weekly trading zone below. If it's a long alert, the final trade to target will be the weekly trading zone above. But with the Logic alerts, what I'm doing is I'm looking left for you to spot potential obstacles to the trade. Previous swing lows or swing highs, depending on if it's a short or long alert. And I'm pointing out the obstacles to the trade. You can call them targets because if it's a short alert, target number 3, well, target number 2 could be good support. The market could reverse there or bounce. Target number 3, the market could find support there or bounce. Why? Because I've looked left for you to see where the market has told us there are buyers willing to defend that long position or sellers willing to defend that long position. The purpose of the alerts is not so you can just trade the alerts and, why should I worry about learning how to trade when I got this guy just giving me these trades all week long? I know people will do that, but I hope you don't make that mistake. The purpose of the alerts is to help you learn how to trade, help you learn how to read a chart, help you learn to see windows of opportunity and spot obstacles to a potential trade. Now, I give you everything in the Logic alerts. But you see, our goal for you is that you become self-sufficient. If your goal is to trade for a living, that's never going to happen as long as you're depending on someone else to tell you when to get in and when to get out. So, the next step in the learning process are the CTAs. The CTAs are published shortly after the Globex Open each evening. We all know today's the Friday session, but the Friday session began last night at 6 p.m. Eastern. 10 minutes into the open, I published all of these targets. Okay. Now, if you're not a member or trial member, you didn't get these. If you want to grab a screenshot, you can. If you're watching after the fact on our YouTube channel, just hit pause on the video. Jot down the numbers important to you, because we're going to go through each one of these individual markets before the broadcast ends today. Now, at 12:45, Michael will join us and give us a recap of what happened in the live training room today. And then at the top of the hour, we will go live on the TradingView platform for our last official live stream. TradingView is doing away with the live streams and putting their weight behind trade ideas. But don't worry, we'll still be doing the same thing every day. All you got to do is tune in using one of the methods that I explained at the beginning of the broadcast. So, once this report comes out, what do? Well, go to the 30-minute chart of whatever markets you actually trade. Make a note on that 30-minute chart where price is at the time the report came out. So you might not be there right at the moment it comes out. Maybe you don't show up till 2 hours later. Still go to your 30-minute chart and still make a note of where price was at that time. Okay. Then draw a line in the sand at the long target, line in the sand at the short target. Those will serve as great visual cues to help you stay on the right side of the street. If price gets above the 30-minute BBC, it's attempting to reach the long target. If price gets below the 30-minute BBC, it's attempting to reach the short target. That's pretty simple. Now, the BBC is the green line you'll see on my charts. It stands for bull, bear, cross. When price crosses above the green line, we're bullish and anticipate higher prices relative to whatever time frame we're looking at, from 1 minute to monthly, and anything in between. For the purpose of the alerts, we're always looking at a 30-minute chart. If price gets below that green line, now we're bearish and anticipate lower prices relative to whatever time frame we're looking at. With the CTAs, you're stepping up your game from the logic alerts. You're learning to look left yourself and spot potential obstacles, previous swing highs, swing lows. You're also learning how price behaves at a weekly trading zone. That is extremely important because price is always trying to reach a weekly trading zone. From the moment the markets open Sunday night till they close Friday afternoon. Price is above the 30-minute BBC, it's trying to get to the zone above. If price is below the 30-minute BBC, it's trying to get to the weekly trading zone below. We've published the zones every week for our members since December 14th, 2009. Closing in on 15 years. They come out Monday morning at 6:15 a.m. Eastern. Once they're published Monday morning, they're carved in stone the entire week. They don't change in any way whatsoever. Now, here's the tough part. You got to resist the urge to complicate things. As long as you know which way the wind is blowing, it's pretty simple to reach your goal for the day. So let's go take a look. The daily chart of the S&P. Now, we've talked about this a lot. On November 2nd of last year, price closed above the daily BBC. Bull bear cross, right? Bearish below it, bullish above it. But November 3rd was where we got confirmation. The price really did want to move higher because we opened and closed above the BBC. So look what's happening here. You all saw the tremendous sell-off yesterday. But those job numbers have now put us in an interesting position. That's why I asked the question earlier. The institutional traders, the ones who actually move price because of their account size, will they take this home over the weekend? When we hit red and falling yesterday, okay, this thing dropped like a rock, okay? Now, in order for us to get the same confirmation that we got back on November 3rd, you can't, because price has already traded above the BBC. Where it closes will be important. Could see a scenario like this. There's a sell-off and we actually close below the BBC. But what I want to see, just as this candle opened and closed above the BBC on November 3rd, I want to see a candle that opens and closes below the BBC. Otherwise, this whole thing was just a head fake. And I don't think it was. But I could be wrong. So why are we even looking at a daily chart? Because institutional traders look at daily, weekly, and monthly charts, the way you and I look at 30-minute charts, 5-minute charts, tick charts, and range charts. It has to do with account size. Because of their account size, they trade in size that literally moves price. So, give me the chance to look over the shoulder of the guy who moves price. That's pretty slick. You mean all I have to do is what he's doing just long enough to get my goal for the day and then put my mouse away? Exactly. Exactly. Our strategy, our indicators are not designed to outsmart the institutions with their infinite resources. Our strategy and indicators are designed to help you clearly see what the institutional traders are doing and to put it in the context of why are they doing it? What objective are they trying to reach? What obstacle are they trying to overcome? Remember, price is always trying to do one of two things: break the previous swing high, break the previous swing low. That's how markets work. Now you might say, well, okay, that makes sense, but I don't trade the S&P. That's okay. Price flows the same across all markets and all time frames. Futures, stocks, crypto, Forex, ETFs, from support to resistance, back to support, back to resistance, over and over, again and again. It is a never-ending cycle. The cycle has been in place since the inception of the markets. It will remain in place till the markets cease to exist. John B., I just saw the note you sent me. Congratulations, my friend. That's great news to head into the weekend. Now leave it like that, okay? All right. This is what the daily looks like. Strong job numbers sent the market higher. Just when it looked like we were going to head for that 24% Fib retracement. And then ultimately the 50, which is where I still think we're headed. But what are you going to do? Nobody said anything in the jobs report about the employees of those 371 stores being closed, or the 600 Apple employees being laid off. And you know, they make some pretty good money. All right. As I said earlier, all the alerts are based on the 30-minute chart. That list of numbers that I just showed you that came out 10 minutes after the open. These are the lines in the sand that I drew. Okay. So, this was the opening candle last night. Price was trapped between potential resistance and potential support. Support won the battle eventually. Now, this right here, this is when that 8:30 news came out. This is the follow-through. I do not recommend trading news. Trade the reaction to the knee-jerk reaction to the news. That would be this candle. This candle. And there we are at the long target. Above the lowest weekly trading zone. 5235/36 on the Dow. We haven't made it to the, well, here's where we opened. We did the same sideways move. I mean, the charts look almost identical, right? Except for the fact that we haven't got to the long target yet. I'm really surprised. And I'm never shy about telling you the truth. I'm really surprised to see the market bounce in the manner that it has. Of course, I know it's the jobs numbers. Cooler heads will prevail. This whole thing you're seeing is a knee-jerk reaction. But again, you got to trade what's in front of you, right? Just because you think price doesn't deserve to be at this level, all selling's going to do is bankrupt you. And yesterday, as the market was dropping and you're going, well, that's unrealistic. Buying would be financial suicide in a market dropping like that. So it's important that you have an understanding of the overall market picture, but learn to trade what's in front of you. That's where multiple time frames come in. If you'll look at that daily chart just 2 minutes, no matter what market you trade, look at the daily chart for 2 minutes before you drop to your smaller time frames and start trading. You'll see your trading results change for the better over time. Now, the 30-minute chart, where all alerts are created, it's what I call the roadmap. Okay, tells me if I want to be looking for long trades or short trades. If we're below the green line, BBC, I'm only looking for short opportunities on my range chart. And if we're above the BBC, and especially when we have the perfect stack like this, price, step line, bone climbing, BBC, I'm only going to look for long trades on my range chart. Here's the Russell. The open last night took us up to the lowest weekly zone. But again, we're trapped between resistance, more resistance up here, and balloon climbing is support. Now, 70% of the time when price reaches a weekly trading zone, you're going to get consolidation like that, like that. 20% of the time, you'll get rejection like that. 10% of the time, the slice. That's when price slices through a weekly trading zone on the 30-minute chart like it's not even there. When that happens, typically, when that slice runs out of steam, price will retrace back to the zone it sliced through, and continue in the direction of the slice. This candle here sliced through, came back to the zone, and continued in the direction of the slice. That's just one example. Okay, we've hit our short target. Price is trying to make it up to the long target, the bullish cross. When you have a bearish cross, when you have a bearish cross that leads to an extended move, the first time price revisits that area will almost always be good resistance. Remember that. It's really important. Okay. In Q, here we go. We opened just above the lowest weekly trading zone, 18,064 last night. This was the opening candle. We actually had a gap higher open. But again, price was trapped between support, resistance overhead. Get all this consolidation. Okay, there's that 8:30 news, that so-called jobs report. And then the market has carried us higher. Now look at this slice right here. Sliced through the zone, retraced back to the zone it sliced through, continued in the direction of the slice. We've got another zone overhead, and we've got the bearish cross from yesterday, which we expect to be good resistance, at least the first time up. Crude oil. Here's where we open. We drop to the BBC. The pullback holds more often than not. Price rarely travels in a straight line. So you got a leg and a retracement, a leg and a retracement, and a leg that takes you all the way up to the CTA long target, and we are above the highest weekly trading zone on crude. Gold. Here's where we opened last night, below the BBC, with red and falling. So all we're thinking is get short. Now, if you waited to get below these lows, say 2306, and that's $200 per contract traded to the target. But it kept going. And the chart gave you no reason to get out of the trade until you got to the zone below at 2286. See, each dollar in price is worth $100 per contract traded on gold. A $1 move in crude is worth $1,000. $1 move in silver, $5,000. Silver's up over 10 grand this week. Now, we hit the zone. When price drops to a zone, we expect it to be good support, and it was. Got us above the BBC, had a leg, had a retracement, and then a big leg. Took us all the way to the zone, 2343, which is the highest weekly zone this week for gold. And as you can see, we're consolidating. And if you look at the step line, it's ever so slightly starting to lean to the right. What does that tell us? That it's attempting to cross from the left side of the blue and climbing to the right side. Once that step line crosses blue and climbing, what you're most likely going to get is a retracement back to the BBC. Price always reverts to the mean. In our case, the mean is green. We call it the BBC. I already explained that. Bull, bear, cross. Silver. Here's the open last night where we continued dropping. Now, this is the highest weekly zone down here for silver. I mean, silver is just, take a look. April 1st, that was Monday. Right? Yeah. Okay. So we're down here around 25 bucks. Now at 26 bucks, that's $5,000 contract traded. At 27 bucks, that's $10,000 per contract traded. And we almost made 28. Almost. Well, okay. We were 28 adjacent. How about that? We're basically 27.50 right now. So we need another 50-cent rally. And that would give silver a $15,000 week per contract traded. So did we hit the short target? Yep. Price got above the BBC. Did we then make a run? Perfect stack and hit the long target? We did. Last but not least, on the euro, here's where we open. Price pulled up to the BBC. Didn't quite touch it. Sign of weakness. No surprise. Boom. Dropped right to the target. Support sends us to resistance. Resistance sends us to support. Back to resistance. Back to support, which we found at the zone. Okay. Remember, when price rises to a zone, we expect resistance until proven otherwise. When price drops to a zone, we expect support until proven otherwise. And here we did get good support. So far, all we've done is put in a lower high. We'll see what happens. That brings us around back to the daily chart, where jobs numbers, felonious as they are messing up us getting this. Okay, so we wait a day. Maybe Monday, maybe Tuesday, we'll see. And maybe I'm completely out of the ballpark. And by Monday or Tuesday, we're sitting up here at 100% fib extension. I don't have crystal balls. I just know that you don't want to hang your hat too long on those job numbers. Came out this morning. That would be a mistake. Okay, where's Michael? Michael, are you here? I actually got through everything. Oh, here's some news to cheer you up. Fed Governor Bowman says additional rate hikes could be needed if inflation stays high. I'm telling you, when you got a Fed chairman that you cannot trust, oh wait, we have an entire administration we can't trust. Oh, I'm sorry. My bad. He promised us 3 rate cuts starting in June. Now they're backpedaling. Nah, we may actually raise rates. Let them raise the rates, and we'll be at this 50% fib retracement. Like that. Michael? You can only tap dance for so long. All right, we'll go read some news or something. Zimbabwe on Friday today launched a new currency to replace its previous one that in recent months has been battered by depreciation and in some instances rejection by the population. Why didn't they do what El Salvador did? El Salvador went from being pretty much belly up bankrupt to pretty strong because they converted their currency to, that's right, Bitcoin.
I'm here. I'm just
now
trying to
he's here. Okay. He was here all along.
I'm here. I'm still just trying to get stuff ready. It's not.
Take your time.
It's not signing in properly.
Take your time.
Okay.
The new currency in Zimbabwe will be called ZIG and will be anchored on gold reserves and a basket of foreign currencies that will go into effect on Monday. That's
wow.
Why could they? How could they not learn from what El Salvador just did? They completely turned their country around. Paupers became princes. Ordinary, everyday people suddenly have wealth. And they go and create the Zig. Okay. Good luck with that.
The Zig. All right. I'm ready.
All right. It's all yours.
Well, hang on. I gotta change my name. Change my name. Hold on. Yes, there it is. Now I'm ready.
Okay. Step 1.
There we go. Step 2 should be ready to go.
Boom. Looks good.
Excellent. All right. I have a whole bunch of trades to go over today too. Wow. Good afternoon, everyone. Today is Friday, the 5th day of April, 2024. If you've not taken a free trial with us and you want to, go here to mytradingiq.com, click on the purple button right here. When you click on that, it's going to bring you to, actually, I got to fix that. It's going to bring you to a registration page. It looks a lot like this, but it'll have next week's dates on it. Click on that and fill out the form down here. And when you fill out the form, there's no credit card required. First name, last name, email, phone number. These are quick drop downs. Right down here, if using TradingView, gives you TradingView login ID. If you have an administrator, give us a machine ID. If you have both, give us both. Okay, and we'll set up the indicators for you on both platforms. All right, let's get into the trade. Lastly, let's get into the spreadsheet and then we'll get into the trades. We had a really good day today. Today I traded the YM a little bit today, so this number here is a mix of the YM and the Russell. If you're going to read the spreadsheet, you have to read all the CFTC risk disclosures down at the bottom. We're up 182 ticks on the NQ. Now the Russell, we were actually down 1 tick, and the YM were up 14 ticks. So the combination is 13 ticks in here. Gold, we had 2 ticks, and the ES were up 9 ticks. That put us at $1,107.50 per contract on the morning session. Today it took 11 minutes and 4 trades to get to the goal for the day. At that point, we're up $1,600. That was with 16 contracts on. And we took a total of 36 trades today. So I told you we took a bunch of trades, most of them on the NQ. Now, on the month, we're at $2,020 over 5 business days, averaging $404 per contract per 2-hour business day. And on the year now, we're at $25,010 over 65 business days, averaging $384 per contract per 2-hour business day. If you were to quit trading when you get your goal for the day and you were to add 1 contract per month, so far this year, you would have only had to work 25.81 hours. And if you started with 1 contract, so far you'd be averaging $728 per hour. If you started with 13 contracts, like I did, you'd be averaging $4,953 per hour. Now, I'm at 13 contracts because I worked my way up 1 contract at a time, 1 month at a time from last year, starting the 24/20 blueprint in January of 2023. Added 1 contract per month all year, right? Quitting when I get the goal for the day, and I carried it through to this year. And that's what brings us to where we are right now. All right. All right. I have a lot of trades to get through, so let me just get into it. I'm not going to show you the gold ones because I only had 2 gold trades. One was +2 and one was a break even. I'll show you the YM trades that we took though. In here on the YM, there's a lot of move on the YM. I switched over to the YM because my gold down was kind of messed up. In the YM, our first trade on the YM was right here. We had a +2 on the first trade, then we had a break even. Then here we had a -10. That put us at -8 overall. We had a +1 right there. That got us to -7. Then we had a +21 right there. That got us to +14. And that's what we had on the YM this morning, right? Now I didn't do any training this morning. That's why I was able to trade so much this morning. You can see during the break here, the YM was given lots of really nice green arrows right here. Not a whole bunch of blue ones, but lots of green ones there. So the YM was pulling back pretty deep to hit the black line in the ribbon when it was doing its pullback, all right? So that was a great opportunity for everyone in there. On the Russell now, let's go all the way back to the beginning. On the Russell, we had not a bunch of trades, just a few trades here on the Russell. And a handful of them. And here it can't be too many more than that, right? Nope. Okay, so our first trade here on the Russell was a break even. Second trade was also a break even. Third trade, we had a +9. On this one right here, we had +9. And over here, I didn't count that one. We did have a stop out. I didn't count that one, but we had a stop out here. I counted the stop out. We had -10 on that. That put us to -1. So I'm not exactly sure what we got. It was -1 at the worst. It's probably better than that. It's probably like +3 or 4. During the break, there was a blue arrow here. That was okay. A blue arrow here. That was okay. Blue arrow there. That was okay. And none of the blue arrows topped out in the break. All right. Let me go over here and make sure I have the next thing ready. Oh, it doesn't look like I do. So let me get it ready to go because that is going to be our last live stream on TradingView. Unless I come up with something else, it's going to be the last one we do. So let me get that ready right now and hit refresh on this. And come over here and hit that and that and that and that. All right. So on the ES today, moving off the Russell. On the Russell, we ended up with -1 tick. All right. And on the ES, we had a few trades here on the ES. Let's go into those. Okay. I don't have the question box up. I should put that up in case anybody asks any questions. There it is. I have the question box up. All right. So on the ES, let's go here. Our first trade on the region here, we picked up 1 tick on that one. Second trade was right here. We picked up 10 ticks, put us at a +11. Then we stopped out there, and that put us down to +1. Okay. Big even trade there, and then we got 8 ticks on this one to put us back up to +9. During the break, there was some nice movement here during the break. There was blue arrow trade right here, just 1 blue arrow trade that worked out pretty well. And that was it on the ES. Okay, now we have the NQ. Let's look at that. We had a bunch of trades on the NQ. So we're going to hit half left. So I'm going to go through. All right, I could just read them all off to you, and that would probabbe useful. But I'll try to do it for you. Let me just hit Alt and over, and that'll move it, I think. Okay. Now, if I double click this up here, and this is NQ. Okay. Let's shrink it down. Here we go. So our first trade's with the NQ. Now I got slippage and I screwed up the very first trade. I was going to get the goal on the very first trade, but I ended up just getting 11 ticks out of it. All right, and then the next trade, that too, I should have gotten the goal on the second trade, and I ended up messing that one up, and I got another 6 ticks. So at that point, we were at +17. This one here just ticks to +20. That's where we got both. We went from +20 to +50, so I got 30 ticks on that. I went from 50 to 80, I got 30 ticks on that. We had a break even, and I went from 80 to 120, so I got 30 to that. Then finally, I stopped out, and I was back down to 100. I got 4 ticks there to get us to +1 over even. I went from 104 to 108, so I got 4 more ticks, and then 30 ticks there to get us to 138. Then a break even, and I should have a stop out coming up next year. Stop out right there, went from 138 down to 118. And from 118 right here, we missed the first one. We got the second one. We went from 18 to 122, so 4 ticks there. And then from 122, the next trade was 30 ticks right there. And then from 152 to 160, so on that one. And then from 160, 10 ticks there. And then 170 to 178 for 8 ticks on that one. And I'm almost getting it done. 178, we had a break even. Then we're from 178 to 182 right there. So that is where we finished the morning session. 182 ticks on the NQ with 21 trades on the NQ by itself. The great blue arrow right there. A whole lot of black arrows. Another blue arrow there that would have been a break arrow here that would have been 30 ticks. Blue arrow that would have been break even. Blue arrow here that would have stopped. Blue arrow here that would have stopped out if I took it because the outer band's kind of flat. That was it. So I'm going to hit the start stream on it right now. On our last stream on TradingView. Yeah, so we kind of had plenty of opportunity. There was a ton of volatility. Some events came out this morning. The major news events came out this morning where the unemployment rate came out better than expected, and the non-farm payrolls came out better than expected. Those are the big things this morning. All right, so yesterday and the day before, I didn't really get a chance to go too much into trading in here in this session. All right, so I'm going to try a little bit of that today, as it's our very last live stream on TradingView. They are shutting down the live streams pretty much after this one. I think we might be the last ones. Anyway, the Russell right here is going back down to test the ribbon. The NQ just went right through the ribbon. I was looking for an opportunity to go long on that, but we're not going to have one. Here on the ES, we're testing the ribbon, and on the Russell, we're testing the ribbon. The ES has a zone right above it. The Russell does not. I kind of want to look at the big picture stuff here. In a few minutes and see what's happening with that. All right, so we got a low here right now, 66.5. 66.5. So we'll be buying 2 points above that at 68.5, 68.50. Okay. Yeah, I don't know, 68.25. 68.25 now. Okay, over here on the Russell, we have pulled all the way back down here to 91.4. If you add 8 ticks to, sorry, it's the Russell. Sorry, yeah, add 8 ticks to that, it's going to bring it up to 92.2 is what you'd be buying on the Russell. Okay, so on the ES, looking for an up close, and we would be buying 68.25 on the Russell, looking for an up close at 92.2. On the NQ, it's going into a no trade zone, so no trade there. And over here on the YM, it's pulled back too deep to want to take a long trade there. Okay, you may have noticed I have the YM over here and not crude or gold. My down was a little messed up with the gold this morning, so I just switched it off to an index. So now I have all indexes up right now. We had so much volatility with the indexes, I thought it'd be kind of fun to just do indexes. That said, I had a great day with them. 66.25 up to 68.25 is what I'm buying on this, right? What I mean by that is I have a buy stop limit waiting right there at 68.25. Right, this goes down more than I have to move the buy stop limit down some. Like this one over here, I think I got to adjust that one. This has now got a low here of 91.4. Some still 0.2 is what you're buying on that. Now it's not. All right, so now because these both went down deeper, there's no guarantee they're going to have a trade on an up close. So I'm going to cancel the orders that I have waiting. What that means is price is not guaranteed to pull out of the oversold. If it didn't hit the black line here on the pullback, it did hit that and not the black line. It's a valid trade whether it comes out of the oversold or not. But now it's got to come out of the oversold to be a valid trade. So it's going to be 65.50 up to 67.50 on the ES if it comes out of the oversold. And on the Russell, 91.2 up to 92 if it comes out of the oversold. Okay, if it doesn't come out of the oversold, it's not a trade. You see these two indices right here kind of showing long opportunities possibly developing, and the two on the outsides are not. They're not showing long opportunities developing at all. Okay, just something to consider. If you're watching the live stream, welcome to the final live stream from CFRN. I think, yeah, unless they come up with new live streams, another format or something like that we can use. This will be the last one. Right here, looking now, it's got a low here 65, so you'll be buying 67 even now on an up close. It's got to pull it out of the oversold for this to be a valid trade. The same thing here, it's got to pull it out of the oversold, and it did. So that is a valid trade right there on the Russell. Okay, so it's a valid trade here on the Russell. I'm long, and my stop is 10 ticks away. I'm long at 91.8. I waited for the close, Chris. I don't know if you watch, but I waited for the close on that. Still waiting for the close over here on the ES too. So I'm long at 91.8. My stop is 10 ticks away. What we anticipate is that it's going to get up to the prior swing high, all the way up here at 94.4. That's the high of the day right there. We'll see if it does. I don't know if it's going to. We're going to bump the stop to break even after 4 ticks in profit. I know that much. Okay, I know I'm going to do that. And I know this is turning out not a trade on the ES, and it's looking like it's not going to be a trade. Well, it's definitely not a trade on the NQ. It's not a trade on the YM. So the Russell is the only thing that actually triggered into a trade so far. We need 4 ticks in profit to bump that stop to break even. It hasn't gone 4 ticks yet, so you get up to 92.2. 92.2. If it touches that, I'm going to bump to break even. There it is. Stop to break even. Okay. Now it shouldn't really do that, but now my stop's at break even. My stop's at +1 tick. Now it should go all the way up here to the high of the day. That would be 26 ticks if it goes all the way up there. It'll probably take me out with one. It just did take me out with one. But it could go all the way up there. These other ones are not giving any help to this one right here. Now, I want to take a look at what the bigger picture stuff is doing. I ran this morning. It actually went further up than I thought it was going to. It went up to the next weekly trading zone. Okay, so now right up above the next weekly trading zone, we have this area that I highlighted this morning that is going to act as resistance right here as well. Right, I didn't expect it was going to go up to the next weekly trading zone, but it did. This, I was saying that this candle right here, if it closed down, would have been a really bearish candle. I said that at 10 o'clock, and it didn't happen. And then I was saying if this candle closed below the MA1 and below the BBC, it'd be really bearish, but none of it did. It got really bullish instead. See, I mean, it could run to the end of the day. You know, these areas that I had put in here, these are significant areas on the NQ and on the ES. Right here, where the MA1 and the BBC crossed over. Those are significant areas of resistance. So what it's looking like right now, it went right through this, and it may continue to pull back down to it. This may act as support now when it pulls back down. Okay, so we're just going to in front of us here. I ended up with a break even on the Russell and no trade on any of the other markets. All right, so the NQ looks like it's tanking a little bit right here, and the midpoint in there is where it should go down to. Let me point that out again for you. The midpoint on the NQ is right here, 309. I'm sorry, it's not 309. What was I looking at? Look back there. The number was 309, but it's not the NQ. Yeah, that is the NQ. 18,311. All right, so 309, it was right. Yeah, 309, right down here. 311, 309, down here. This is the midpoint. Oh, look, the midpoint's already there. That's not the right midpoint, though. That's a different midpoint. That's a midpoint between the weekly trading zones. So what I'm talking about is a midpoint down here, like 309, right down in that area. Okay, this black arrow here is not a valid trade. After a trend change, it's going to pull back and hit the ribbon before we'll trade in that direction. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I may not place another trade right now. It looks like I just lost my connection to my charting platform. Here, it's coming back up. Okay, well, I still might not be able to place another trade. I'll talk about them anyway. Let's talk about some other things while we're in here. Nobody's asked a question about it, but let's go to excuse me. I was thinking of going to Bitcoin to look at that. Okay, I want to go out here. I don't know what's going on with Bitcoin today, but let's just have a look. Oops, that's the wrong one. This is Bitcoin today. Let's click on that. All right, this is Bitcoin on a daily chart, and it's doing just like I was afraid it was going to do. This junk that it did over here the last time. Last time I put in a new higher swing, new all right there. Then it went sideways for a little while before I finally made the big move. I suspect that's what it's doing again. It's just bigger range than it was back here. You know, if it drops down below here, it's in trouble. Right? If it drops down below this level right here, it's in trouble. Before, when it was doing all this, it was this level here that it couldn't drop down below. Now that level has changed, and if I clone this, put that level right up here now. Okay, it's not even, yeah, I guess it's probably that level. Yeah, looking and see that it's this level right here. If it drops down below that level, it's going to have trouble. It'll probably drop all the way down to this level. Right? But as long as it stays sideways or keeps going, you know, grinding its way up like it is, then Bitcoin should be okay. Now, Ethereum, I haven't looked at that in a while. Let's go look at that and see. Anyway. Okay. Ethereum is doing sort of the same stuff, just like it did the last time. See right here, last time it got sideways for a little while and then made the big move up. It's doing the same thing, just a bigger range of sideways. Sideways before, this is the range of sideways now. So hopefully it's going to do what I expect. And the level that can get down below is this one right here, right? And even a little lower, like right down here is what I would say on that. Don't want it to get down below this level. Okay, let me delete that and put a different kind of thing on here. This level. Oops. Put that level right there. Let's go back here and see if we got anything going on with our stuff in here. Nothing yet. Nothing yet. We did have these green arrows back here. It did pull back and hit the ribbon, which I was looking for. But now that we've had these green arrows, it's got to put in a lower swing for us to want to trade in that direction. Okay. What time is it right now? 1:12. 18 minutes left to our final live stream. Let's look at stuff way out here in the number 6 slot. We have Mr. out there. And let's see with Mr. This is on a daily NASDAQ, but if we look at it on the 30-minute, I believe that's what we're looking at one time before, right? Is Cliff out here? No, he is not. Okay, that stuff we talked about in the partners meeting last night about getting these arrows so that they stick with the price and all. I really did a lot of work on that last night. We're going to have that pretty soon. Probably be next week sometime. I'll have that all done. So it'll be just like the other ones and move around with the price as the price moves around. Okay, I think that'll be a good thing. I won't be able to put text on it with it though. I'll leave that there too. You can still have that down there. You're gonna have the arrows. I think I might be able to do that. I don't know if I'm gonna. If that is what screws everything up. The way that I have to put that on is what messes everything up. But anyway, Mr. on the 30-minute chart, I gave a long trade here. Is that today? No, that was a couple of days ago. Wasn't doing anything since then on the 30-minute. But what about the 5-minute? Okay, on the long side in the 5-minute, it has nothing here since the other day. That one gave a little bit of profit. This one stopped out, had almost no risk on it. This one right here. The last good long trade that it gave was back here on the 2nd. So that was Tuesday. It was a little long trade it gave. It gave 2 of them on Tuesday. I guess this was Monday. Yeah, Monday it gave a decent. With equities, you're not really looking at the shorting part of it, but the way the markets have been this week, let's look at other things like the ETFs, okay? Because that was something that I was discussing to everyone earlier this week about the ETFs and when to sell them, and I said sell them up here. And I was suggesting it was Tuesday, so it was in here on Tuesday when it was down in here. I was suggesting ETFs. Using TV trades, there was a long trade here and a long trade here on Wednesday for the buying. The Wednesday one, the stop would have been down here on that, been right down here. I can see that just took off. Then yesterday, you guys that were listening in the stream yesterday, I was saying if you're long, then you probably want to consider trailing your stop up closer again out, is what I said yesterday during the stream. And you can see after the stream ended, within an hour after the stream ended, the market totally collapsed. Today surprising me. The resilience today is surprising me. The amount of resilience is surprising. I expected it to get up to this level. I didn't expect this level. But in the bigger picture, if you look at it this way, right here with this kind of a screen that doesn't have a whole bunch of stuff on it, we're at a point right here where it could just drop. I don't know whether it will or not. And the SPY is the same thing. I know we had at least one of our partners followed my guidance as far as the buying and exiting of the SPY, and he exited with 100% profit between day and yesterday. on the SPY options. But in here, this is all the way back to last week. Let's go back to Monday. Okay, so this is Monday. The SPY options were given long trades right here Monday afternoon. Okay, and they did not work out well at all. Well, they gave the SPY, I'm sorry, not the SPY options, but the SPY right here gave a move up, and then it just tanked. And then this was Tuesday. Tuesday is when we were saying, when it got down here, on Tuesday is when we were saying to start buying the options. Or we weren't saying it on Monday, we were saying it on Tuesday, because we'd hit the lowest weekly trading zone. And and any options that you bought on Tuesday did really well all the way through until yesterday. See, so all this information was here available for you. If you use TV Trades, that's targetviewtrades.com, targetviewtrades.com. Use that. You can take advantage of all this stuff again. And if you actually sign up with TradingIQ, you get to use that for free for some period of time. It is listed in the package. All right. So I have something that I have to look at quick. Okay. That is, I don't know what that is. That's two of them. And they don't make any sense at all. Dwayne, you're not trying to call me, right? Somebody from Phoenix is trying me. All right, so let's just go back to the regular trading in here. It looks like the markets are coming back to something that we can use. Okay. Everything is back alive as far as I can tell. So we haven't hit the ribbon yet on a pullback on the YM. We haven't hit the ribbon yet on a pullback on the Russell. We haven't hit the ribbon yet on a pullback on the ES. We did hit the ribbon over here on the NQ, but we didn't put it in a lower swing. It's got to put in a lower swing after hitting the ribbon. Right, after this one right here, it did finally put it in a green arrow right here. If you took it, gave some decent profit, but now it's gone sideways. You don't want to take this green arrow right here because the outer bands are flat. Right, when the outer bands are flat like that, you just want to avoid trading it all. Let me go check. I have 11 minutes left. Yes, I want to point out that what they're doing now for anyone that's watching the live stream, what they're doing now is that I'll actually turn one on and we can record a little bit of this. I don't really have a plan for this one, but what they're suggesting is instead of having live streams, you go to community, trade ideas, and video ideas. Now, none of this is live, right? It's not live streams like this where you can hear me, get you ready for the trades as they're coming up and actually place the trades in front of you. None of it is live, but what I can do is, go through this sort of thing every day and publish what I'm going through, and you guys can go, if you want to learn from it, you can go to live streams, go to trade ideas and video ideas. And in here, you will see video ideas. We're probably going to put ours under educational ideas. We'll vary back and forth depending on what we do, but the stuff in here is kind of randomly placed. Depends how many boosts it gets. Like these guys got a lot of boosts, so they got a lot of people over the. This was on March 31st was when it was updated. I don't know when the first thing was though. If I click on that, I don't know when it was first created. When does it say? It was updated March 31st. It's not right here. March 26th, it looks like, is when they did this to begin with. Right, and it's a document. So we have living documents out there too that we can add to. But this is what they want us to do right now. While they figure out if they're going to be another thing that's an actual live stream sort of thing. This is what they want us to do right now. Okay. All right. So I'm going to slide that back over here. Put that in there. But we are going to do our best to stay on top of all the changes that are coming down, and be as helpful to all you traders as we. The Russell right here is pulled back and assessing the ribbon. Finally, it's got a high area of 89.5, so be selling 88.7 on that. Now the NQ went right through the ribbon. The ES is going through the ribbon. The YM went right through the ribbon. So the Russell was the last one that didn't go right through it either. It was the last one to go through it. So it could be the Russell's just lagging here again. the down close. That's a valid trade right there on the Russell. Okay, key the down close, and it's a valid trade. Stop should be 10 ticks away. Right, on the sub-tick range, stop is always 10 ticks away. The ES is not given a trade here because the black line just hit the green. The NQ may give us another trade here. I don't know if it's going to. It's going to pull back. It hit the ribbon here, but it didn't really pull away from the ribbon before it hit it. Okay, and that's really what you're looking for. All right. All right. So we're looking for this to move down to the prior swing low. It actually should go through the prior swing low right here. Okay, it should go through the prior swing low. Okay. The NQ's almost got a long trade here. It's almost pulled back and hit the ribbon and almost given us a long trade. There it is, 4 ticks in profit. The stop goes to break even. I believe I should just hit break even, right? It's gonna hit 0.2. Did it hit 0.2? No, 0.3. Right. It's gonna hit 0.2. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. My finger just twitched, and fortunately it didn't move it. But all right, so the NQ's got a green arrow long trade over there, while the Russell's got a green arrow short trade. I don't like it when they go in opposite directions like that, but sometimes they both work out. Sometimes neither works out. Sometimes one works out and the other doesn't. If one of them's going to fail here, I'd rather it be the Russell, and I'd rather have the NQ work out because the NQ has a 30-tick profit target, and the Russell only has a 10-tick stop. So it would work out in my favor. As a matter of fact, the NQ stop is going to break even, and the Russell could possibly stop me out minus 10 ticks. Okay, so we're flat on the NQ right now, and now it's just the Russell that's left open. No trade here on the S. You see the aqua background there? That is I just call it blue background. It's no trade zone. When it gets in there, you're not gonna get any arrows or anything like that. It means you're either in chop or at the beginning of chop. Chop's about to start. You want to stay out of that. All right, and we did stop out on the Russell. Okay, so it happens. If we had had a better fill, we'd have had our stop at break even, I think. Right? Yeah, if we had a better fill, we'd have had a stop at break even. We have a lot of contracts to get slippage, and that's just the nature of the beast. So now we just have to wait. 6 minutes left. Bart, are you in here right now? I don't know if you're in here. Go all the way over here. Shut all those things off. Okay. So I know I promised Bart last night in the partners meeting I was going to meet within 2 o'clock. Just waiting. Has anybody asked any questions anywhere? Let's see in here. I don't see any questions in there. All right. It's 1:25, guys. I'd like to have a nice win here on our last live stream. We got 1 stop out, 1 break even, 2 break evens, 1 stop out so far. I'd like to have a nice win. That would set it off into wherever it goes. They do say that they're working on something else for the live streams, but for now, just put stuff out into the video thing. I didn't really have a plan ready for today, so I could hit publish now, but it really wouldn't have any value to it, so I'm not going to do that. So what we are waiting for here, now I haven't said this yet, if you haven't taken a free trial, you should go here to mytradingiq.com. Right here, sign up for the free trial, click on the purple button, no credit cards required for the trial. When you click on that, it's going to bring you to this registration, well, the registration page. It's just like this. All we ask for in here is your first name, your last name, your email, and your phone number. You click join, and when you click join, you'll be sent all the information you need to get into the room in the morning. Okay, that will start Monday morning at around 9:15, 9:20 a.m. and runs to 11:30 every business day. All right. So that is how you take the free trial. In here, give us your TradingView login ID. If you take the trial, give us your TradingView login ID right here, so we can enable the indicators for you. All right, there is no credit card required to take the trial. New credit card required. Go to mytradingiq.com, purple button, sign up for the free trial. Okay, all you have to do to take the free trial. We don't have anything going on here with these markets. So we have just a few minutes left, and then we're going to sign off of our last live stream on TradingView. Seems like. All right. Does anybody have any questions? Anybody? There, it's like, oh, that's Rachel. So we're sideways here. Outer bands are completely flat. Sideways here, we're in no trade zone. Here, here, and here, no trade zone. We're not in a no trade zone here on the YM, but the outer bands are completely flat, so we're not going to trade. We should be in no trade zone. We probably will be in a minute or two. And it looks like that's how we're probably going to wrap it up. We have 2 minutes left. Unless something makes a big move here, we're not going to have anything. Let's go look at other stuff really quick. Go out here, and that's Ethereum. That's really not moving at all. Go out here, and this. Now the stuff that we're looking at, you can use this TV trades for target view trades. Sorry, you can use it for a lot of different things. You can put it on the NQ if you wanted to. With when you have really volatile days like today, put it on the NQ, and this is going to be on a 5 minute. See, on a 5 minute, the NQ had one long trade way back here this morning. 9:45, I had a long right here. Your stop would have been down here, but I had a long trade right here. Stop would have been 83 points. That's a big stop. If you go to 1 minute, then you'll see the long trades that it gives in here would have smaller stops. Again, here, let me do a replay on this to see what it would have said right here. And right there. And so the stop on that was 20 points, which is still a big stop. 1.6 risk reward. So the first target on that was all the way up here. It was way more than 20 points. And you can see that it was just working well with the NQ today. Doing long trades and trades again and again and again. You can use this on anything you want, right? And let's see, let me go back here one more time, see if we got anything going on over here. Nope. Outer band's flat, no trade zone, no trade zone, no trade zone. That's how I'm gonna wrap it up. Our last live stream. Well, I wish we had more to do, but we don't. So I can now pass it back out to Fabulous Phoenix, Arizona. Again, let me say one more time before I pass it out. If you haven't taken a free trial with us, go here to mytradingiq.com, sign up for your free trial right here. I know the live stream thing hasn't been going on that long. We have been going for over a decade. So take a free trial with us, go here to mytradingiq.com, click the purple button. No credit card is required for the trial. It's going to bring you to a registration page just like this. Fill it out, and you get everything you need to get the trial and to get your indicators activated. All right, Dwayne, I guess I can pass it back out to you to Fabulous Phoenix, Arizona, in Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park.
The title of today's broadcast on YouTube is The Last Live Stream on #TradingView.
The last live stream on #TradingView.
Yeah, somebody should make a movie or something.
Excellent.
Okay, recap of the morning session.
All right, so today it took 11 minutes and 4 trades to get to $1,600 this morning. 11 minutes and 4 trades.
Great job.
Goal. Thank you.
Okay, guys, we actually made it through all of the markets today before Michael showed up. And the big question, where do we close today's session? Above or below BBC? Now, the dynamics are not going to be the same over here that we saw on November 3rd, because on November 3rd, price opened after closing above the BBC on November 2nd. On the following day, we opened and closed above the BBC. We're not going to get that same dynamic here because we've already traded above the BBC today. So even if we were to, drop heavy down even to yesterday's low by the end of the session, if that were to happen, it still would not be the same confirmation that this candle gave. We'd have to wait until Monday's session, which begins Sunday night, to get that kind of confirmation. We need to see a candle on the daily chart open and close below the BBC. Got to close below it yesterday for the first time since November 1st. It was a good run. And it may not be over because they're going to continue to monkey with these economic reports, and people are going to believe what they hear. You can tell the most bald-faced lie in the world, and if enough people repeat it, pretty soon everybody believes it. All right, our good word for today. Don't be afraid of failing. Not in life, not in your marriage, not in your schoolwork, and especially not in your trading. Okay? Fear destroys great traders. I know a trader who's got a wad of money, but he lacks the confidence in himself to increase size in which he trades. And I work with him. I'm like a life coach, I try to work with him as often as I can, to help him find that courage. We all need more courage, probably in every area of our life. But more courage begins with not being afraid of failing. After all, what's the worst that can happen? Everything in this life is just temporary anyway. And that's a positive statement. Joshua 1:5, I will be with you. Because we are keenly aware of our limitations, we tend to limit our pursuits to our comfort zone. And that can lead to a life of mediocrity and unfulfilled dreams. Your efforts don't rest solely on your shoulders, but on God's. Yes, you have a part to play, but when you have done your best, you must trust God to do the rest. On the threshold of the promised land, God said to Joshua in Joshua 1:5, as I was with Moses, so I will be with you. I will not leave you nor forsake you. Be strong and of good courage. Your ability at anything is limited, but God's ability at everything is unlimited. You may experience failure on your way to success. Let me reword that. You will experience failure on your way to success. God's guarantee is, I will not fail you. The fear of failure is often based on the erroneous belief that success rests solely on our abilities. And because we're aware of our inadequacies, we stay in our comfort zone instead of tackling the giants in the promised land. This can lead to a life of frustration over woulda, coulda, shoulda. When you know that what you want lines up with God's will, be bold and know that you will eventually succeed. 1 John 5:14. Now this is the confidence that we have in him, that if we ask anything according to his will, he hears us. And if we know that he hears us, whatever we ask, we know that we have the petitions that we have asked of him. When your confidence is in him, your success is assured. Now, success for your life, your view and God's view may be different. Maybe you and God are pulling on the opposite ends of the same rope. He's trying to drag you into his will for your life while you're trying to drag him into your will for your life. Put the rope down and have a talk with God. There may be something that you've been struggling with for a long time. It could be trading. I don't know. It could be your marriage, be your job. Have a heart-to-heart with God. And make sure you clear out that spiritual earwax so you actually hear what he says to you when he speaks to you through the Holy Spirit. Hey God, I've been stuck in this rut for a period of time, whatever. I want to ask you, God, is this your will for my life? Or am I fighting you, trying to force my will on the life you gave me? Then listen to what he says. You may not hear what you want to hear. Now, it could be something as simple as in regards to just trading, but I want you to apply this to every area of your life. Maybe the reason you want to become a great trader is so you can drive a Lambo. Now, I don't care what church you go to, that's not going to glorify God. Not as long as there's one starving person on planet Earth or one orphan child that doesn't have parents. So perhaps God's will for your life is trading. But what needs to change is your motivation for trading. I don't know. You see, that's between you and God. And he will speak to you just as quickly, just as simply as he will speak to me or the Pope or anybody else that he created. And remember, he created everything. That includes us. And he created a will for your life. If you're on the wrong path, better to find out when you're 25 than when you're 65. That's our good word for the day. When you know for sure what you want is what God wants, you can move forward in great strength. Thanks so much for tuning in. Whoever you are, wherever you are, may God continue to richly bless you with his mercy, with his grace, and I'll see you at the bell.
Remember this, there is no greater return on investment than to see a human life changed and given hope. As always, pray hard and trade safe. Any financial information discussed on this show is simply the opinion of our host, Dwayne Reeves, his co-hosts, and guests. To learn more about trading E-mini futures or to take a 1-week free trial in our live trading room, call 1-866-928-3310. 866-928-3310. Information discussed on this radio program should not be construed as a recommendation to buy or sell any security. Always do your own due diligence and consult with a licensed securities broker or financial planner before making any investment decision.